cooking. Yes, indeed, we're cooking. You and me, we're cooking. Cooking with Chef D.
We're all on the run. You know, we're all going a million miles an hour. And when you batch cook, you can make, let's say, your vegetable stock, your chicken stock, and your beef stock all at once. Then you get your Ziploc containers, and we all have freezers, and you can pop them into your freezers, and then you can take it out. You know, using a vegetable stock to make risotto, to make a barley risotto, even using it in rice, brings all that flavor out and gives it some more flavor, depth of flavor, as it were. So when you make your own stocks, you get to do that. And when we're batch cooking and you're making a little bit more, we can freeze it so that you know you're not running to your local fast food place all the time. You're actually having something nourishing and great for you. Welcome to At Home with Chef D, with me, Chef D, in my beautiful new studio kitchen. And today, it's all about stocks. And stocks are the basis of a whole bunch of different dishes. So we're going to do a chicken stock, we're going to do a vegetable stock, and we're going to do a beef stock. And whenever I do stocks at home, I usually have Springsteen turned up really loud, and so I thought, why not wear my favorite shirt? Anyhow, so we're gonna get started. We have some chicken bones from our good friends at NutriFarms right now. And again, you can get them from any butcher shop. They're absolutely fantastic. We're going to roast them off just to give it some more color for about 20 minutes in the oven. And then when we come over here to the beef bones, this is really great because we've got a lot of great bones today. And I'm just gonna show you, you wanna have bones that have the marrow still in them, because that way, it's gonna give the gelatin, and that's actually gonna help thicken your demi-glaze, because that's really what we're going to do with this, is we're gonna reduce the beef stock down into a demi to make that beautiful sauce that goes over steaks and everything like that. So we're gonna take the beef bones, we're gonna put them in the oven at 375 degrees, convection roasting, and then that way they're gonna get a little bit brown. We don't want too brown. Then we're gonna put them in our pot, and I'm gonna teach you all about that in just a second. So in they go. So now that our chicken bones and our beef bones are in the oven, we're gonna let them roast in there for between 20 and 25 minutes, just to give a little bit of color. You don't need to put them in for a long time. We don't need all that color because we're actually gonna do it in some different ways. So while we're waiting for that, I thought, why don't we get our vegetable stock going? Because all three stocks kind of start off the same way. You always wanna start with cold water, not warm water. So I have 7 liters of cold tap water. And that goes. And then we're going to take some dried onions and some dried garlic. And you're probably asking, like, Chef, why? Because it's going to be over a period of time, and when we put fresh onions and fresh garlic in, their flavor starts dissipating over time. We want something that kind of gives it some punch and some great flavor. And then I just have a little bit of dried garlic. In that goes. Probably about a tablespoon if we're keeping track. And then what we're going to do, and this is what's so great about making a stock, you don't have to have fancy cuts or anything like that. They can just be a rough chop, as I like to refer to them to. We're going to put some carrots in. I have some leftover leeks, and a lot of times we end up putting the top part of the leek in our compost pile, or even worse, into the garbage. You don't need to do that. So we're just going to cut this down the middle. We're going to put that in to give it some nice flavor. And then we have this bulb here, and you're probably going, what the heck is that? This is a celery root, and years ago, we used to always put celery into any one of our stocks. I like putting the celery root in, and if you like a great cooking magazine, check out Cooks Illustrated. They say the same thing, is that when you put celery into stock, and it over time brings a little bit of acidity to it, and we don't want that. This actually just brings that nice celery flavor, and away you go. And remember, it is a separate to celery. It does taste like celery, but it's not the bottom of the celery, if you get what I'm saying. And we're just gonna, again, roughly peel it. Doesn't have to be perfect. So we're just chopping up our celery root. In that goes. We have our carrots. We're going to put in some onions. And skin on is great because it's going to give it some more flavor. Oh, sorry, more flavor. It's going to give it some color. And I have some red onions over here. I'll just put those in. And maybe one more leek. There we go. You could put some bay leaves in if you wanted to. If you have some peppers, you can put some peppers in. That's what's so great about this. Put as much as you want in. It's going to give it some great flavor, and away we go. So now we're going to get this started. As I mentioned before, we don't want to have it boiling with the vegetable stock. We'll keep it on for about an hour. After that, all the flavors, you've taken all the flavor of the vegetables, and away you go. So save the ends of your celery if you want. Save the ends of your carrots, peppers, whatever, and you can just put all that in. If you have some tomatoes, put some tomatoes in. It works really great. Our bones are ready. I don't like using oven mitts. Just think about this for a second. You put your oven mitt on, it could touch the bones that we're going to touch now. It could touch cookie dough, whatever. Then you put it into a cupboard that is about 70 to 80 degrees. Lots of bacteria grow. So hand towels are great because if they get dirty, you just wash them right away and away we go. So that's just my little soapbox theory. Our beautiful chicken bones. Our beef bones. And you're going to see they browned, but they didn't brown over amount. That's what we're looking for. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take all these bones and put them into the stock pot. It's like so. And you're going to have a little bit of fat left over on the paint sheet. That's fine. And also too, you do want some of the fat into the stock because that's just going to give it some great flavor. And you can ask your butcher, and I'm sure that a lot of them you can get bones from all over, which is really great. Now we're going to add some of the celery root into our bones here, and then of course the red onions, which will give it some more flavor. And I have some more of the onions and color. Carrots go in there. And then, of course, our dried onions, our garlic, our cold water. Now, you want to have cold water here. You don't want to have warm water. And especially with the two bone stocks, is we're going to bring it up just to almost that gentle boil, because you don't want to have it any more than that. If you have it rapidly boiling, it's going to make your sauce go really cloudy, and that's not what we're looking for. And now with the chicken, we'll do the same. Again, grab our bones. The other thing too, if you don't have bones for the chicken stock, chicken wings make a great substitute for this. So if you find some chicken wings from your local butcher shop, that's absolutely fantastic. Or if you have it in your order with our good friends from NutriFarms, use them and it works perfect. So in our carrots go, we're going to put in some of our leeks. And I forgot to put some in our beef stock, and then go. And there's no right or wrong to putting how many carrots in or how many onions. It's whatever you like. And as you do this more and more, you're going to get a feel for what flavor you're looking for, and then just, again, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. And remember, just because we made it once doesn't mean we're always going to make it the same way again. And the rest of our onions go. We're going to add some of our dried onions in, and just a touch of garlic. So we have our three stocks now. We have our vegetable stock, we have our beef stock, and we have our chicken stock. As you're just starting to see that the water's just starting to move just that wee little bit, that's what we're looking for. So now what's going to happen is for the beef stock, we're going to let this simmer away between 12 and 24 hours so that you get all that great flavor out. You're going to take all that marrow and gelatin out of the bones, and then we're going to skim it all and you'll see it, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Same with the chicken, but the chicken we're only going to go between 2 to 3 hours with that. Any more than that, it starts getting a little bit bitter, and you don't want that. So, you know, the beef is the longest, the chicken's the second longest, between 2 and 3 hours, and then our vegetable stock is almost there. We've had it on for about a half an hour now. We'll let it go probably for about another 40 minutes, strain everything out, and then we'll just put it either in, like, you know, those plastic Ziploc containers. And I know I've heard some people put it into some Ziploc bags and then they freeze it that way on a baking sheet just in case anything leaks out. But other than that, that's the way it's going to go. And then you have great stock for any time that you need to make a soup, a risotto, you know, the demi-glaze that goes with steaks. Simple, easy, nothing to it.
You and me, we're cooking with ChefD.
So welcome back. What we've done here is, you know how we started off with the beef stock, with the bones, and I talked about the marrow, and that's going to serve as a real great thickening agent as we reduce the stock down into a demi-glaze. We have our chicken stock here. Now, unfortunately, when I was bringing it out of the fridge, the fat broke, but that's okay because we're going to take the fat off, and that's what we're looking for now, is that you want to put it, after you're done cooking it, you take all the bones and all the vegetables out because they've done everything that they need to do, and just grab with your hand, or if you have a strainer. I like getting my hand in and picking the pieces out, and we're going to get 90% of that fat all out, and you have this beautiful chicken stock, just like so. The last little bit, you can just take your strainer and run it through. Just go around. You're going to pick up all the last. And it usually takes about anywhere from, depends on your refrigerator, and if you're using a refrigerator that you use all the time, it's going to take a little bit longer because that door gets open and closed a fair bit. We're very fortunate to have a whole bunch here at the studio kitchen. So that just makes it a lot easier. So anyway, so now our stock's done. I want to come back over to our vegetable stock here, and you can just see it's just nice and clear. There's, again, because we use the carrots, because we use the onion skins, you're going to get some great color from that. We did not season it with any salt or pepper on any three of these. And then what we're going to do, before I come to the beef one, is this is really easy. You can buy these at GD French, Flanagan's, wherever. They're called 1 liters. And you're going to put in the stock 3/4 of the way up, put the lid on it, and then you can freeze it. And then that way you can use it for, whether it be for soup, whether you want to use it for risotto. You have some amazing vegetable stock. And again, it's not costing you a whole lot because you're using the ends, and you know what you might have put in your green bin are now you're using to get all that great flavor out of. Same with the chicken stock. You want to do the same thing. And you're going to see it's a little bit darker because of the meat, but still nice and clear, not cloudy. 3/4 full, and away we go. Now, for the beef stock, we have it, and this, again, like I said to you earlier, you're going to notice that there's a fair bit of fat on the top. We're just going to take that fat off. Oh yeah, I just love opening this up because this is really great. And you're going to start seeing the gelatin that this is formed. Let's take all this great, it's not great, sorry. We're going to take all this fat off. A little bit of the onions that come with it. One last time. I'm just going to take a little bit in here, and you just see how that, you have an amazing beef stock that's going to turn into an even better demi-glaze. You see how thick that is? It's almost like gelatin. And that's what we're looking for. Now, I'm going to bring this back up to temperature. We're going to strain all the bones, all the onions out, and then I'm going to put it in my 1 liters, and I'm going to put it in my freezer, and then the next time that we need to make a demi-glaze or a really cool stock for a beef dish, pork dish, a venison dish, we have it and it's all ready. So again, just a reminder, when we're doing the stocks, and especially with chicken and beef, that you never want to bring it up to that really rapid boil. You just want to bring it up to gently start set and then reduce the heat down and then let it simmer. With the beef, you can let it simmer up to 24 hours. With the chicken, probably 3 to 4 hours is the maximum that you want to go. So now what I've done is, you noticed earlier that it was really almost like a gelatin. It's melted, so now we can actually finish taking out all our bones. And what I usually do is just grab, one kind of strainer, and then we're just going to take it. And the bones have done their job. You don't want to do anything else with them. We're just going to get the vast majority out of the soup, the stock, and that way we're going to strain it one more time. And if you really want to strain it even more, you could put some cheesecloth in your sieve or strainer, and away you go. China cap works just as well. And China cap is just the one that kind of has it tapered right down to the little bit. So just a couple more bones out of here. We should be good to go. And you just kind of don't want to lose any of that great flavor in the juice. So we just hold on to it for a minute. And now we're ready. And just as it gets going, just a little bit slower. Just hold it up. Again, if you would like, you can put it one more time in the refrigerator, let it chill down, and take any more of the fat off. Right now, I think we have just the right amount that we can make some amazing demi-glaze with and some different sauces. So we've made our beef stock, we've made our chicken stock, we made our vegetable stock. Now what we're going to do is reduce down our beef stock and make it into demi-glaze. As you notice, we used bones that had lots of marrow in them, gelatin, and that's a natural way of thickening our sauces. So we're going to get started. I got my pan nice and hot, but just want to show you. I put our stock in a 1 liter. I'm going to take a little bit of the fat on the top off and just get rid of that. We're going to add some butter to our pan, and I got my pan nice and warm. We're going to melt our butter, and we're going to add some onions to it. Just see. And you want the butter to almost brown, which is going to even give it some more caramel and sweetness. We're using a butter that has 84% butter fat in, so you're not going to get the, you know how sometimes when you're getting melting butter, you get the kind of splattering out? That's the water coming out of the butter. So this, again, doesn't have as much water in it, so it works much better. Or you can use some ghee, which is that clarified butter, and that takes all the milk solids out, and you can use that. It would be perfect for it. Start seeing that our butter is starting to brown a little bit. Nice and warm. Melting our butter. We have 1 cup of onions. You could use shallots, you could use leeks, wherever you want to go with this. Now, we're just going to, again, let the onions become translucent, the butter brown just a little bit more, and then we're going to add our beef stock. So you can see that our onions are starting to caramelize. That's what we're looking for. We have that beautiful butter that's browned up a little bit. Now we're going to take our 1 liter of beef stock. Pour that in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to keep it, again, medium high. We're going to reduce it down by half, kind of stirring it in. Then we're going to add some mustard in and that last little bit of extra flavor and season it with a little bit of salt right at the end. As you can see, I picked a bigger pan so that it actually cooks a little bit faster and reduces down a little bit faster. So we've reduced down about 1/4 of it now. So now I'm going to add in, now you can add some Dijon, you can add some, I'm using a honey Dijon that we're going to add in. We're going to add in about a tablespoon of Dijon at this point. You know we measure everything to a T on this show. So we're just going to stir that in. And again, I'm not going to add any salt to this till the next step where it reduces down by another half, then we'll add the salt. Because if you add in too much salt at this point, as it reduces down, you're going to get even more salt and it's going to be way too salty. Anyways, if that made any sense at all, good for you. So our sauce now is reduced down from when I've added the mustard to even half of that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of salt because I've tasted it and I'll taste it again. It's a little bit flat. Oh yeah. So now, again, just a little bit of salt. It'll brighten it up. You just start seeing how it's reducing down really nicely. And let it reduce down just a little bit more. All those beautiful onions and flavor. The beef is fantastic. Now I have some cold butter, and you want cold butter because you want the sauce to be really shiny and you want it to melt in. It's actually going to help thicken the sauce up as well. So we're going to take 2 butter balls or 1 tablespoon. Again, we're going to whisk those in. And just gets a nice sheen to our sauce. I know it takes a lot of work from the start of a great big sauce pot to reducing it down till it's almost nothing. But the taste is so great, and it's going to add, again, a little depth of character to your beautiful Nutrifarms grass-raised steak. We're going to grab a spoon. Oh yeah, look at this. It's just, look at how beautiful that sauce is. Take our sauce. Put it around our beef. And there you go. We have some seriously amazing eating. A little bit of grass-raised beef. Wow, that is so good. Just remember, when you're making a great demi-glaze, you want to start with bones that have lots of marrow in. So, you know, thicker bones, ask your butcher, go to Brady's Meats. You know, I know with Nutrifarms you can order soup bones in and they have lots of great marrow. Put them in the oven for about 350 for about half an hour, brown them up some. Again, big stock of cold water, onions. Keep the skins on the onions because that's going to help get a darker flavor for your demi-glaze, and away you go. Let it cook overnight. Never bring it up to that true boil, and you're going to have an amazing start to an absolute great finish. Look at that. If you want to, you can turn them over halfway through the cooking process. We're not going to look at it for about 2 hours. The whole house is going to smell amazing. The meat's going to be tender. Hi, who's that?